Welcome to the Gospel Road. I know it's been a couple weeks, but things have just really been kind of crazy. Trying to juggle this and that, but I was reading one of the things that I actually have, because I've got a list of different chapters from the Bible that I do my podcasts and then go back and kind of review them now and again. And this one I was looking at, and of course I look at the English Standard Version. It's the ESV, but it's Psalms 120. It says, "In my distress I called to the Lord, and he answered me. Deliver me, O Lord, from lying lips, from a deceitful tongue. What shall be given to you, and what more shall be done to you, you deceitful tongue? A warrior sharp arrows with glowing coals of the broom tree. Woe to me that I sojourn to Meshech, that I dwell among the tents of Kedar. Too long have I had my dwelling among those who hate peace. I am for peace, but when I speak, they are for war." It's interesting when I read that because, again, as I've shared over the years, and then even through some posts and even a couple books that I'm putting together, some devotionals and different things. And in fact, one of them that I'm working on now, it's the Who Am I journey. Who am I? And what am I doing for others with what I'm doing, and how am I treating other people? Well, the first thing that jumped out at me, it says, "In my distress, I called to the Lord, and he answered." And I know I've said this many times, when I read these, and when I do my devotions every day, and when I even just read a scripture or a chapter, I look at how I'm applying that to myself. And I know I have been through, and I know we all are. I have some friends right now going through distress. I'm going to use that word because that's in Psalms 120. They're dealing with a lot of situations and circumstances, and they're trying to get it all figured out. And it's not always the easiest to be able to do that. So, David here in Psalms, he's saying, "In my distress, I called to the Lord, and he answered me. Deliver me, O Lord, from lying lips, from a deceitful tongue." Now, there's two sides that you're looking at this, because there's the personal distress that I'm dealing with, or that you're dealing with, and you're looking for someone to be there to help you get through that. And again, as I've said, reading through the scripture, one of the main things that I have realized and that I understand, is our purpose. And our purpose, no matter if you are in management or executive management or a coworker or just friends, family, it's building up one another. It's not when someone does something wrong, you kick them while they're down. You reach out your hand to pick them back up. But then again, it's not even just the situations that, you're dealing with on the outside, but a lot of times it can be the inside. So, with this, are they talking about the lying lips of those that are around, or those that are backbiting? Or is it even maybe a personal struggle that you're dealing with? Either for lying, whatever it is, a little white lie, or just trying to get something done. We'll talk about that project you need to get done, and you didn't get it done, and you're coming up with the excuses, which most are not true. Kind of like my dog ate my homework, or just the deceitful tongue, because gossiping and backbiting others. I mean, later on it talks about, I am for peace, but they are for war. And that's really, when you talk about the Bible and when we're trying to work with one another, it's living in harmony, and it's being at peace with each other and helping each other be the best that they can be. It's not being combative. It's not being at war with one another. Though that seems to be the way things go many times. But that's not how we look at it. Again, I like taking these pieces and applying it to our lives, and I think there's lots of great examples to be able to apply, through the allegories that we can have to apply to ourselves personally and professionally, and then with the beliefs of, being spiritual. And I mean, that's kind of how I take that. I know a lot of people they look at the Bible and it's all spiritual, and they're not really applying it, and they're just looking for the end game. And it's not just the end game, not what's going to happen when we're not here anymore, but it's how I'm living my life every day. how I am being there for each other, how I'm being there to build up one another. And just because a person does not believe the same way that I do, I still need to be there for them. Now, again, I've got to take that time out. I've got to take that time to recharge, take that time to recuperate. I've got to find that time for me so I'm able to be my best for others. Again, when you read through the Old Testament and through the ministry of Christ, Christ took that time to pray. Christ took that time to be alone, to be on his own. And you find yourselves, I find myself, because in a world of how busy we are, it doesn't happen, and I don't take that time out for me. I mean, I know right now I'm just going crazy with things that are happening in my life personally and with my jobs, because I'm getting pulled in so many different directions and trying to get it all figured out, and it's not always the easiest, and it can be stressful, and it can drive me pretty crazy on some days. I mean, this past weekend I did finally, get a few things, took some time for me, and I felt better, but it doesn't always last. I'm dealing with a daughter getting married, which those of you that understand that, the craziness there. But how is it? What are you doing? What is that stress that you're going through right now? But what is the stress that maybe someone that's going through right now, and how are you helping them with that? How are you helping them deal with that to keep moving forward, to keep pushing forward? Are you pushing them forward, or are you pushing them back? Are you holding them down? Are you lifting them up? It's that accountability piece that I look at myself when I'm seeing friends. And then we got the friends that you're trying to help, or the coworker you're trying to help, the employee you're trying to help. You're trying to lift them up, and they're combating you in every way, because no matter what positive you say, they have that negative that comes right back. I can't say much because I'm as guilty as anyone else. I'll be honest, my insecurities are rampant, and they have been through my life. And I try to deal with it. I try to do better, but it's not always easy. You always have that little voice in the back of your head of all the bad things that people always told you. I was watching a show the other day, and they were talking about, they were talking to their father, and they were saying, there was this game, and we won the game, and I did all these great things, but the one thing you had to point out was the one thing I did wrong. Well, is that how I live my life? I have. I'm trying to do better to not be that way. As a manager, I've tried to not be that type of person. But how many people do you run into, and that is what they do, and that is how they act? There is no praise. It's all, trying to make you better, because I'm going to point out everything you've done wrong, and that's how I'm going to make you be the better person. And that's not always the best way. In fact, that's one of the worst ways that you can help somebody be better, because they might be having problems at work, but what's their personal life? Maybe there's something deeper. They need that encouragement. They need to be picked up because of some things that are going on that are very stressful. Being the same at home. Someone's having a bad day at home. What are they going through at work that's really kind of driving them crazy? It all works together. It really does. Maybe it's even something at church. It's something that's happened when you were doing something with your kids at a school activity. It all works together. Our lives, as much as we separate them, they will blend together because of things that are happening and what's happening in our lives. If someone's reaching out to you, like David's reaching out to God, are you going to answer them? Are you going to help them? Or are you going to turn their back and not be there? Or are you just going to keep adding and piling more on top of them? As I always say, take these and read these to yourself, because what I'm giving is what I see, what I feel, how I think, which we might be thinking the same, but there could be something different, because you could be going through a completely different situation. So as I always encourage, to read these for yourself, take that time, and then apply it. What's happening? How can you do something better in your life through the stories that you're reading for these? Psalms 120. Maybe the ESV is not yours. Maybe you like NIV. Maybe you like the Message. Maybe you like the King James Version. Maybe read it in different translations and see how they all kind of play together. I've been doing that a lot lately. Psalms 120, read it. And, have a great day. Encourage others. Be kind. Share kindness. Love one another. Show that compassion. Be there. The grace and mercy that God shows, show that to others. Be the best you can be to help others be the best they can be. Thank you for listening to The Gospel Road. Have a great day. God bless.